What's up, Jason?
How you doing, Rich?
Oh, bro. It just so happens one of my old songs I did with Britt from the Donnas. Here's Britt singing.
Man,
we did it as a duo.
She's really saving your ass on this chorus.
Dude.
This sounds great. This sounds great.
It's like if this was ever actually came out, was released as a single, nobody would see me on shit. Like in the video, I would just be in the darkness, and it would just be her in the back. So I wrote all the lyrics for this song, right? And I wrote the song and I wrote all the lyrics, and then she wasn't there when we recorded it, because we did this in El Paso at Clap of Thunder, that's owned by the smart Sparta guys. But anyways, so she's singing my lyrics here. Here, listen.
You said you'd be there for me, all alone in my beautiful misery. Will you love me like you loved me before?
I have a very soft spot for the Donnas. I love the Donnas.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing guilty about that pleasure.
I mean, it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment, and it was very
Those were my favorite moments in the last 3 decades. Actually, I like that the late '90s, early 2000s. There was a lot going on at that time that I absolutely loved.
This is I think this is 2009.
Is it that late?
I want to say this is 2009 or something like that.
So this is after she's all grown up and everything.
Oh yeah, she's a woman. I never even saw her though. She just sent me an email going, "Nice song." That's it. That's all it said. And then right here. But listen to this right here. Okay, this is what I'm proud of. So, the whole little lick right there. Right here. It's some country shit, right?
I love it, man. You're playing for the song, and I really like it. This is music. I like it.
This is how music's supposed to be.
That's right.
Well, I think. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, Jason Kotwitz, Rich Mendez over here doing the podcast for Release the Bats over here in Austin, Texas. You fucking understand and know what the hell the fuck is going on. All right. Jason is a very good friend of mine. We're going to turn this shit off. We don't need to hear that shit anymore. Thank you, Mendez. Old 2008 skinny Mendez.
Man.
I put so much fucking weight on during this goddamn pandemic's bullshit.
I put a lot of weight on during the pandemic.
I put 35 pounds on. You know what? When the whole thing happened, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to eat meat and that's it. And then this girl that I was dating at the time, she's like, well, since everything's locked down, I guess I'm not going to see you for a while. And then I was like, I guess you're right. And then other parts of my body were like, dude, yeah, that's a problem. So she came over and stayed. And me, her, and my son were chilling, watching movies every night, having alcohol delivered to us. I fell off the wagon. I was in AA for 6 months up until that point. And then we just sat around drinking and watching TV. And then in October, I got married. We got married. I loved her. I knew I loved her right away. And I guess it took a pandemic for me to find this person. So there's that.
Well, it's funny you say all this, because actually my incredible wife is my lack of self-control at the table is part of my reason for gaining so much weight in the pandemic. But my wife also tends to cook like my grandmother, and a lot of butter here, a little more butter here. I better throw some more butter on this, that kind of thing.
You'll add some butter with your butter?
Yeah, and over the pandemic, I was stuck at my house. All I was really doing was sitting at home, just playing guitar and writing music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this, you know, the new album I have coming out was all written during that time. But I gained about 25 pounds. And
Ain't that a bitch?
dude, it just happened so fast too. That's because I'm getting old. I got to watch every hamburger I eat. But in the last month and a half, I've taken about 20 pounds off.
That's good.
And I'm doing the keto diet. So it's like all meat and cheese for me and nothing else. And I got one of those fancy rowing machines too. So
Okay.
I'm rowing, I'm watching YouTube,
Yeah.
and then I'm eating the same thing every day. Meat and cheese, meat and cheese, meat and cheese.
You get used to it, right? After about a month, you get used to it?
Yeah, your body adjusts. And I'll wake up in the morning and I'll try to stop eating by like, you know, they say don't eat after 6 p.m. I'm more like a 9 or 10 p.m. guy because I stay up later and I sleep in later.
Right.
I'll stop eating about 9 or 10, and then I won't eat until like 4 o'clock the next day. You know, I'll kind of fast and let the time go by. And I don't know. Hopefully I can get back to where I was. I don't know.
I've been trying to grow some balls like yours, bro. I've been trying to just like, it seems like, I mean, I'll try to eat about 8 o'clock, and I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna have lunch, and then by, 7, 6 o'clock, I'm getting really hungry, and then maybe by 8 or 9, I'll eat something, and then usually that's cool. I'll be okay for the next day, but it's the consistency. The key to it is just like doing it every day. Yeah, this is all new for me. I'm not digging it, but whatever. We're moving forward. We need to get into rock and roll shape. You mentioned that earlier. So what's going on with you, man? You got the bulimics are done.
Bulimics still play.
Really? You still playing with bulimics?
Yeah.
Okay. Geriatric.
That will essentially never end. I mean, it's like
herpes. This keeps coming back,
dude. So yeah, and like we have a band thread, right? Like every band, we have a text thread, and I probably talk to those guys more than anybody. We're all cracking jokes all day long, roasting each other.
Just bring that closer to your mouth.
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So, yeah, we have the text thread. We sit there and roast each other all day and talk about anything. But I'm in regular contact with them, and we have. God, what did Jerry say? Is it we either have? I think it's a 25th anniversary show coming up.
25 fucking years?
Yeah, the Bulimics are doing 25th anniversary show in September at Lost Well, local watering hole. And then we're playing King's Fest in November, which is the skate bonanza out there west of town.
Okay.
And then we're doing Rose Tattoo has officially rescheduled their tour, and I think we're playing with them in March of 2022. But right now, all my focus is on a new band called the Oxys. Just recorded a record. Jack at Enormous Store is mastering it right now.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm kind of at a stage in my life where I love writing music, but I don't like to mingle and mess around in the business so much. So it's challenging for me to move forward with this.
What's Jack been up to? Have you seen Jack's new place?
I have not seen Jack's new place. From what I can tell, the guy just works his ass off nonstop.
He's a bit of a work dude. Works way a lot, and he lives like far. He kind of like lives west. Like west, like off of 290 out there. But the place he lives at is beautiful. There's like some Asian dude out there, like in like some sand garden, like just making like these cool like lines. There's the last time I was there, I saw a crane hanging out. It was beautiful. All these smooth rocks with like these like terms of endearment in there, like stay positive, we love you. There was a gravel. The driveway was gravel, and the whole place seemed pretty cool. Basically, like you could just like walk down one of the side roads into the woods and end up at a creek or something. It's very very mellow, really chill. So to imagine like all like this death metal, black metal that he's mastering He did the Venom shit. That's crazy. Like the reissues of the Venom stuff.
Saw that. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, he's dude. Jack is doing amazing shit. So, and I've known Jack for a while. I was invested a little bit for with the Number Store for a while when they first started getting going. Yeah, Jack and I go way back. Also playing mini shows with World Burns to Death, and I think we even did a show with Severed Heads of State. I want to say it was, but Chris Alanese says it was World Burns to Death, but who knows?
Jack did the last Bulimix record we put out, and Bunce Bunce mixed it, and Jack mastered it. And when I sent that to him, I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this record or whatever. And when I got it back, I was super stoked. I was really, really happy with it. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm a fan of their work.
Yeah,
fan of Jack's work for sure.
Yeah,
he's doing incredible stuff.
Jack is a badass, 100%. Like, he's like the example of what you do and what happens when you focus on hard work and you do what you got to do, and you're still like loyal to yourself and you just focus. He's just a focused ass dude.
Yeah.
And whenever I hang out with him, he's always like giving me good like health tips and like what to eat. And when the whole pandemic happened, he's just like, you gotta get this. You gotta get this supplement. You gotta get this supplement.
Smart dude,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he is, man. That's cool, man. So,
I love it that I can give him music and he gets what I don't have to. So, some of these mastering guys, I give it to him. I'm like, okay, this is rock and roll. I need these guitars popping, this, that, and the other. And I give stuff to him, and it's like he knows. Mm-hmm. He knows. He's into the kind of stuff I do, and he just knows. I get it back. It sounds great.
I've always been blessed with knowing like people like him, like Buns, like Smith, or Frenchie down at the Bubble, Charles Godfrey, like all these like really awesome dudes. I've always just been blessed with knowing them. And then also, in addition to that, every project that I've ever been involved with, I've always had really good musicians that I've always felt like I never had to hold their hands to ever do shit. Is that like that with your band now? Like, are you happy with the lineup and what you're doing, or are you playing everything?
Well, the music on this first record goes back quite a ways, because when I was playing with Cheetah Chrome and then the Dead Boys, at that time I was writing a ton of music, because Cheetah was always like, oh yeah, we're going to do this record, we're going to do that record. So I was constantly in a state of writing music for those kind of things. And I recorded, there's some tracks floating around out there that we did record, but I had a ton of leftover music that I really liked. Mm-hmm. So this was it 2019 maybe. I got swindled into doing the punk rock lottery. I was off tour at the time, and so
you got swindled, or you had to sign up and go to the thing for the lottery.
I can't remember.
How did you get swindled on that, dude?
Because someone talked. Someone talked.
You got talked into it.
I got talked into it.
You got roped into it.
Because I'd never done it before.
Okay. It's fun.
Right. So I can't remember who it was, but they were telling me, "Oh man, you got to do punk rock lottery." He's like, "This is so fun. This is such a blast." Maybe
it's like a spiritual tattoo.
It might have been Breadsick or somebody like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, someone talked me into it, and I'm like, "Okay, I did it." So I have this text with the guys that were all picked for my band, and I had a ton of music written, so I threw them out some songs. I'm like, here's some songs. You guys like any of these? They kind of threw a couple of those in, and they threw a few others in. But the singer of that band was Phil Davis, who plays with Nowhere Bound now, and he took one of my songs and he sent it back to me, and I was like,
Nowhere Bound,
Natchez?
Yes, Natchez Taylor.
Yes.
I had a dream about that dude the other day.
Oh my.
Well, it was rock and roll related.
He's an attractive guy.
And he's a firefighter, which kind of adds to the sexiness, but I'm not trying to go there.
Right.
But he's a good guitar player. He was in one of the bands I've always admired, New Disaster. I haven't really been listening to more of this newer stuff he's doing. But anyways, continue.
So I send Phil one of my songs, and he sends it back, and it's got vocals on it. Mind you, I had worked with a couple vocalists prior to this on some of these songs, and tried to, tried to record some stuff, and I wasn't what they were sending me back, I wasn't really into, you know?
Okay.
So Phil sends me back a track, and I'm like, damn, dude, this is really good. And I'm like, you want to try another song? Like, kind of on the side here? So I send him another one of my tracks. He sends it back. It's great. Send him another track. It's great. You know, so all of a sudden I see there's this chemistry between us. I'm like, we're writing songs together. I like him. Some of the lyrics, I had about half the lyrics for the album. He threw down the other half. So now we're in the pandemic. We can't practice, but me and him have these songs. And I had recorded most of it at home with using Superior Drummer.
Okay.
You know, because I didn't have a drummer. I used Superior Drummer. I recorded all the guitars, recorded the bass, did all direct tracks.
Superior Drummer is software?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Superior Drummer is...
I have computer drummer.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that stuff. I know I have Superior Drummer 3, and that's what I use. But
okay. That's cool to know.
It's got loops and everything. You can tailor it to how you want. You can write songs. And so I wrote all the drum parts. I recorded like I said, the guitars and bass. I kept direct tracks, which would be later reamped when we actually did the album. Mm-hmm. So I needed a bass player. I needed a drummer. I didn't really need a bass player, but I needed a drummer. So I got James Sheeran from Mr. Lewis and the Funeral 5.
Oh yeah. That's Breadstick Soundies right there.
Yeah, he's a pounder. So I got him, brought him in, and basically recorded the drums last. You know, he came in and played.
Wow.
He came in and played to the music that was there, so, and we did the tracks like that, and then just went back and shuffled it around a little and pulled an album out of it.
That is so crazy to think that a drummer could just go in there and play to a click and just remember all the parts, or maybe there was like scratch guitars he was going along to, but to do the drums last, that's very unconventional.
He had the songs in advance, you know, and they had Superior Drummer's a great drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, Superior Drummer kills it every time. They're always in time. They don't talk back. It's perfect.
Right.
So, yeah, he came in and after hearing the songs and was able to, you know, there was I don't know if we had a click going or not, maybe. Mm-hmm. But he came in and played to all the songs, and you know, a couple takes, and he would get them.
Well, that sounds good, man. You want to hear it? You have he had sent me a song queued up. Want to throw a little bit of it on there?
Yeah, man. Sure.
Listen to it now.
Throw it on.
Okay. Are we ready for this, or am I ready for this? Is this what level of this?
I just let it rip.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it. Here we go. The Oxys. That was a bad start. Let's go ahead and turn up the fucking volume on the phone. How about that? My bad. I like it. I love when bands have like a pre-chorus chorus.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we do a lot of
I
that.
thought that was the chorus, and that was just like the prequel to the chorus, and then the chorus jumps in and jumps back out, back to the verse.
Yeah, it's definitely not rewriting the wheel here. I'm just writing music that I want to hear and listen to.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's really only one thing guaranteed on here, and that's the fact that I'm going to start every lead on this album with a Chuck Berry lick. Every single one.
Dude, that's pretty fucking sweet. I love it. Here we go. I love it. This is great. Are you doing bass on this?
Yes, I did all the bass too.
This is cool, dog.
Yeah, we recorded this down at Ice Cream Factory. We did the tracking there, and then I mixed it at home.
You mix this yourself?
Yeah. I did mix it myself.
That was good.
Thanks, man. It's like,
I don't know how to mix at all.
yeah,
I'm pretty alien to it.
I don't know how to mix either. I just know what I want to hear and when I want to hear it. So spin the knobs until you get it right.
Right on, man.
I don't know.
So, beyond this is like obviously the latest thing that you've done. The things that you've done in the past, though, you played with Cheetah Chrome for a little bit. Let's talk about that. I've got questions.
Everybody's got questions about this for me.
All right.
It's always the number one series of questions I get. So
Okay.
The last thing the Dead Boys did, of course, we were doing the 40th anniversary tour, right?
Right.
Well, a 40th anniversary tour, it was going on for like 2.5, 3 years, right? So it kind of became the 41st anniversary, the 42nd anniversary, and then we had a European tour that was awesome get canceled. The rug got pulled out from underneath it.
Oh, that's lame.
I don't know the exact reasons why that happened. I have some pretty good ideas that I don't want to get into, but the tour got canceled, and at that point, and since then, I mean, I think the singer's the only one that's been in contact with Cheetah, so I can't give you any update on him. I don't know.
Okay. How was it like touring with Cheetah? Was he I mean, obviously, like when people think of the Dead Boys, they usually think of Steve Bader's days and Cheetah just playing guitar without a shirt on, with a jacket, and all redheaded and sweaty and stuff, and kind of like looking like he wants to punch your face. The last time I saw Cheetah, older cat now, obviously,
Yeah,
but still looked good. Still doing his thing. You gotta admire a dude that's willing to like pick up a guitar, get in a fucking van, and drive around in all kinds of weather and places, and set up on every stage, and do it every night or every other night at his age. Because I'm 46, dude. Honestly, when you called me this morning and just to make sure we're still doing this, that was like, what, 10:30? I'm like still sitting there on the couch where I'm like, yeah, dude. Like some motherfucker came up. I guess like they're fixing the gas lines outside.
Uh-huh.
And shit, man, about 8 o'clock in the morning, I was like on my front door knocking like the fucking cops, dude. And I open, I go up there, no t-shirt on, big old fat tattooed belly. I'm like, and I was like, yo, what the I'm like, are you not? It's like he had like a helmet on, you know, he's doing work. This guy's doing work for the CD or whatever. And he has this like work helmet on, and I was just like, hey, dude, what? And then he's just like, oh, hey, yeah, so this week we're going to go ahead and change out the gas lines here. So you've seen these like little flags on your lawn. I'm like, yeah, dude. Click. I just like shut it on his face. I don't want to fucking talk to you about your shit. You're going to do it anyways. Yeah. Just fucking do it. I don't own this house. Anyway, so I'm pissed off in the morning. Hour later, you call me. We're still doing this.
Wait. You're 46?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. No. I know. Hey, it looks good, bro. It looks good.
You look 10 years younger than you are.
I'm all fucked up in here.
I'm 46 too. That's funny.
So this like fucking. So I come back in here and I lay down and I put on my podcast and I go back to sleep, and I'm like, and then you call me, and the first thing you're like, hey, what's up, dude? Did I wake you up? it was like 11. It was like 11:30 or 11:15. Just say you'd be a little bit late, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, fine. And then my alarm went off at 11:20, and I laid there till like 11:40, and yeah, man. Okay, so besides that, and I feel like how I feel at my age, right? And then look at a dude like Cheetah, and he's like would still be doing it. kind of like even drinking and partying still, sort of,
Oh
right?
my god, dude, terrifying. But yeah, I hope that when I'm that age, if I make it to that age, that I'm not beating myself up like that. You know, it's I getting up for them to do is for Johnny and Cheetah to do as many dates as we were doing and get up every night and perform at that level with that much energy. I mean, I know the younger guys in the band were, getting beat up doing it. I can't imagine doing it at that age.
I see people like Cheetah, and it reminds me of people like Ozzy. Like dudes in their 60s and shit still doing that stuff. It's like you're cut from a different cloth, I think. Either that or you have the drive that's like so overwhelming to just keep going at that speed for that long at that age. It's always bewildered me. My friends in Trail of Dead were, sort of kind of getting up there in age as well. But they're still out there doing crazy shit. And every show is like their first show. When I saw you guys play, Cheetah was just out there grimacing and scowling and playing guitar and looked like it was pretty cool. Pretty fucking cool. But anyways, and I was very happy that my buddy Chris Alaniz got to play drums for that.
Oh, Chris.
Chris.
I miss Chris. I'll tell you.
Do you miss Chris?
I miss Chris so much it hurts. It's like, here's the deal with Chris. And one thing I've been lucky with, since I played music since I was, 13 or 14 years old playing in bands.
Yeah.
Is I've always been spoiled with really good drummers, right?
Mm-hmm. Same here.
The first drummer I played with, I'm a friend of his. His 20-year-old son actually helped. He was serving as a consultant for me on this record on the mix. He's
wow.
He's
All
an
right.
engineering kid. He's like 20. He's great. But anyway,
cool.
So I played with him. I played with Hardin Harrison before from Rigor Mortis, who's in Speed.
I remember,
played with him in
yeah,
Speed.
I remember
that
Rigor
guy
Mortis.
is an insane drummer. So good. But then, I played with Chris, and when Chris left, it was really difficult for me to play with anyone else because I played such a long run and so many shows with Chris. Like we knew each other like the back of our hand, and he's one of the best drummers I've ever played with in my life. And it makes it hard trying to play with other drummers because I always feel like I have a very high bar because of Chris. James is a great drummer. James Sheeran, who played on this Oxys record, great pro, very good.
Right.
So, here I am with another great drummer again. So I feel very, very blessed in that sense. But I miss Chris. He's a character too.
Well, he's well,
He's a beast. He's the tiniest guy ever, and he's just absolutely annihilating his drum set. It's amazing.
He's a ridiculous drummer. First of all. Second thing is, at the time when he joined my band, the High Watt Crucifixers, when he joined that band, I guess like he had a kid that was having some some disabilities, some medical issues.
His daughter,
yeah. His was Chloe. Was it Chloe that was having that issue? I forgot. I'm sorry, Chris. Forgot. But anyways, so he was dealing with that. So every show would go out and do. He always seemed very stressed out, and so we all kind of like understood what he was going through. Mm-hmm. But it definitely came out in him a few times where he was sort of like lash out at us. But he kind of sort of had the chops to back it up, so we'd let him get away with it. There's things that would happen, and we'd be like, yeah, but he's Chris Alaniz on the drums, so we're gonna just sort of like, because if you're not a good drummer or musician at all, you can't afford to have a shit attitude. You can't afford to do dumb shit. In my opinion, I will deal with it. If you're good enough, I will deal with it. And so that was definitely the situation with Chris. When we recorded the album, I had known him for only 2 weeks up until that point. Mm-hmm. And during the recording of the album, he like said some shit to me out in the parking lot, and I was like, dude, I think you got the wrong dude. I think you think you're talking to somebody who's gonna let this shit slide. And we kind of got into it. Because I'm kind of an aggressive dude in my own sense. I'm like the type of dude, like, I'm very peaceful, and but I like to be left alone. But if I go anywhere and if I see somebody like staring at me too long, a dude, right? Like the other day we went to go see Joe Rogan, and my wife and I were sitting at a table, and so I kind of like did this thing. And this guy's like, every time I looked back, this guy's like looking right at me, right? Like in my head, I'm like,
I know what he was thinking.
who the fuck is this guy? Right?
I know what he was thinking. He's
What was
like, God, that guy looks young for his age.
Was it? is that the singer for Highway Crucifixers or some shit? Is that the guy from the podcast? Maybe. But and I told my wife, I was like, if this motherfucker looks at me again, I'm gonna fucking ask him I'm gonna ask him what's up. And she's like, don't embarrass me here. But it's like a thing about me. I got my own like little, I'm a little aggro myself. But Chris kind of like sort of like helped me keep that in check. And help me sort of like focus on the job that I had to do. And of course, at the end of every night, after end of every show, he'd be like, that was a great fucking show, but we could be better.
Dude, yeah.
He was always saying shit like that to me.
Chris probably wanted to kill me on at least, 1,500 occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing
Probably
short of
more than that. The only ones that you know
man.
about.
Well, yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Well, he always had this thing, like, I'm a time Nazi, right? I have a pretty good internal clock. So I know when songs are too slow, too fast, or when they're fluctuating and stuff like this. And man, I always used to, I had this thing where we'd be playing and I'd just turn around and give him a look like, you're on top of it too fast. We're moving along at too quick of a pace here. Well, finally one night he got, he did all the Cheetah Chrome stuff with me, and he did the Sylvain and the Sylvain stuff with me. So I played tons of shows with Chris, and he was in the Bleemix with me too. So he had a name for me. He would call me Jason Kotwitz. He would call me Jason Kotwitz because I'd always bust his ass about tempos. He's real good. He has an internal clock, but I seriously am a Nazi about time. Yeah. And that's just because I play with, when I rehearse, I either play with, a drum loop or I play with metronomes.
Yeah.
So I really feel like fluctuation. I love natural fluctuation. Don't get me wrong. But like if it's drastic, if it's jerking and pulling, like I feel it when I play,
Yeah,
So-
you're kind of like you're sort of touching on the philosophy and the philosophy and like the art of songwriting, which is very, very crucial and important. On that note, let's listen to a little bit of Chris Alanese. So Chris Alanese, drummer for Highway Crucifixers, also for Dead Boys for a little bit. This is Chris doing a drum solo, just to give you an idea. And he was so mad. He was so mad that when we did this, like the bass player for Highway Crucifixers, when he wasn't in the band at that time, got up on stage at Emos and like was recording Chris Alanese doing this. Chris did not like or approve Westbrook on stage doing this. You could tell afterwards because after this happened, Chris was like, what's Jason doing up here? But now Chris is happy the videos exist. So.
Man, I do not enjoy drum solos, but Chris is a beast. I could watch him do it all day.
Yeah. All right, we get it. We get it, Chris. You're the best. We get it. But anyways, yeah, good. Chris Alanese. Chris Alanese, a great drummer, made my band sound the way it did, and that's why people.
Where's
dug
he at
us.
now? Beaverton, Oregon? Beavertown or something like
He's
that?
like on. I guess he's like in a suburb of Portland.
Yeah.
Which is a shit fucking show right now. I heard. So, anyways, so cool. So you got these shows lined up. You said wife earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You got married.
Yes.
How long ago?
We got married 2 years ago.
I didn't know this. Congratulations.
Thanks. We hightailed it out of town and went and got married in New Orleans, which was wonderful. It was funny, when you were saying earlier, you were talking about the guy behind you that kept looking at you. See,
Yeah.
I don't get too upset because generally if I think someone's looking at me, they're generally not. They're probably looking at my wife. with good reason. So
Sure.
whatever, that's fine. No, she's an artist here in town.
Okay.
Well, of course, she lives in my house. Duh.
What does she do?
She paints. She does large paintings. She does a lot of different stuff. You know, she actually paints a lot of music artists. Mm-hmm. She has a Johnny Cash painting in the Johnny Cash Museum in Nashville.
Wow, that's cool, man.
And I know she has a Loretta Lynn painting out at her ranch, at Loretta's ranch, I believe. And
Does she have a website or something where she sells her prints and stuff?
yeah, it's ericajaneamerica.com.
Nice.
And, you know, she has Instagram page and all the social networking jazz. So
Cool, gotta check that out.
she's got prints available and stuff like that.
Nice.
It's wonderful. It's amazing having an artist in the house. I love it.
That's pretty cool, man. My wife, when we got married, before we got married, I sort of realized and kind of understood when we first started dating. She was like, "Oh my God, you play guitar! I love musicians. I love people who play guitar and music. I'm a music fan." And she's one of those types. She gets like the ACL wristband every year. She gets the South by Southwest stuff every year. She goes to she loves music festivals. I personally have been to so many music festivals. I'm just over it. I don't like it. It's too many people, too much walking, hot. I don't like waiting in line for beer. I don't like porta potties. It's just, all that stuff is just kind of like a headache. Unless I really, really, really want to see a band.
Spoken like a jaded 46-year-old.
Very much. Because also, keep in mind, I've worked at music festivals.
Right.
So I've already done, I know things could be easier. They're easier backstage where everything's available and there's like a nice tent with the AC in there. And like, I know it's different back there. I don't know, man. I just, there's just too many people.
I
guess that is jaded. I guess you're right.
Well, I'm the same way. It's like I played so many shows and toured so much. Like I remember a couple years ago, people were like, "Oh, come out to the show. You're off tour." It's like, man, the last place I really want to go when I'm off tour is to a club,
right,
to watch music. And you know what I discovered is I found I have this weird tick, like this anxiety, right? So when I play shows, I get anxiety really bad before I go on. There's that period where you're waiting to go on stage, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're not close to your hotel or whatever, you're actually sitting backstage at the club.
Yeah.
And you're just pacing for 2 hours. You're just pacing back and forth like, gosh, when I can, and it gives me terrible anxiety. Well, when I came back to town and would go out to shows, I started having that same anxiety at other people's shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
when are you gonna play?
Like in between bands, I just found myself pacing to the bar and it was so weird.
That is funny, dude. I don't get that way. Usually, I avoid all that just by not going to the shows.
I try to go to.
Having a kid is the best excuse for me. Desi's not feeling well. Desi's sick. Desi's hungry. Desi's got school. Desi had a nightmare. Desi's. I'd go to your show tonight, man. But Desi, we were supposed to watch like this movie, and most people understand that. But I've used Desi as an
I like to
excuse
try to keep up, on all my friends' bands.
I do too.
I like to go see. I like to know what's happening in town. It's like, hey, we live in the, what do they call it, the capital of live music.
Capital of the world.
Yeah, whatever. And they call it that. So I'm like, there's so much music. Like I try to get out and take advantage of that because I have lived in places before that don't have that, and it's miserable.
I lived in 2015, 2014. At the end of 2014, I moved back to San Jose, California to go take care of my dad. My dad, who was at the time having some serious health issues, and also having some serious. There's still serious health issues. Actually, he's got a laundry list of things going on, but. Beyond that, though, when I got back to San Jose, California, one of the reasons why I left San Jose, California was because the music scene sucked so bad. it was so terrible for me, in the sense of what I was looking for. There was lots of like crust punk bands. There's like lots of punk bands, and everybody there is like into the Addicts, and there's like I'm really into that stuff, right? But where my music, ideas were going, were kind of like going into more of like an indie, post-punk kind of stuff, and so when I went back, I was kind of like apprehensive, like, is there going to be a scene here? What's going on? I got back, the scene was way better, and it was cool. So we played a few shows. Excuse me.
Was this before? Had the Blank Club closed by that time?
No, the Blank Club was still open.
Still open at that time?
Wait, you're talking honestly, I don't know. San Jose people, let me know.
Because I know that I thought the Blank Club closed because didn't Larry go to the Uptown Club in Oakland for a while? Because I know I was living in Santa Cruz.
The Blank Club, wasn't that like also Corey O'Brien owned that place?
I don't know. I lived in Santa Cruz from 2007 until or 2006 till 2012, and I know I played shows for Larry at the Uptown Club in Oakland at the tail end, right before I left to come back here.
Honestly, I don't really know. The last time I played at the Blank Club was probably 2004. From San Jose, we drove, or from Austin, we drove to go over there on the tour. And
I love playing in the shows in the Bay Area, but San Jose wasn't exactly what I would consider a hotspot for music. Mm-hmm. You know, I did play in the early 2000s. I played some super fun shows at the Caravan.
Oh yeah, dude!
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
That place was such a shit show.
Yeah, in San Jose I had a band called Betty's Love Child, which is like a pop punk shit. And when Betty's Love Child band broke up, the drummer and I were DJs. You can see at my DJ turntable, I still DJ, and so we had a night there every Thursday night at Caravan, and we would set up our turntables. And we called the night Electric Kingdom.
Nice.
So it was just all just like nothing but soul. We'd start off with soul music, go into some hip hop, electro, like break dance music, and then ultimately do some house music, dancing, 80s. And, people in San Jose love 80s music.
Yeah.
They love fucking Depeche Mode. They love the Smiths. They love Devo. They love Blondie. Which of course I have a shit ton of 80s records and everything you could ever hear. Like everything in that on my record collection over there has got everything you've ever heard on the radio pretty much. But anyways, in the 80s. We used to do, the Caravan was, somebody pulled a gun on me at the Caravan one time.
I
dude.
totally believe that.
They did.
Now, weren't there shows? They did free shows there, right? There was never any cover.
Never a cover. Suggested donation.
Right, because I would always have to.
Because they weren't a venue, they were a bar.
Right, I'd have to tell my bandmates. I'm like, okay, we're playing this place in San Jose called the Caravan. Now they're not charging a cover, and how are we gonna get paid? Blah blah, this and that. I'm like, you know what? Don't just set those feelings aside right now and enjoy the night, because you're gonna have fun at this place. It's gonna be a total circus.
Yeah.
The crowd is gonna be super rowdy. You're gonna play in the back on the floor, and most likely you're gonna be getting smashed around by people in the bar.
It's gonna be it's an experience. It's like for people who don't know, the Caravan in San Jose, California, in downtown, right there next to the Greyhound bus station, they have the most craziest, coolest bar. It's a gym, actually. It's like one of the old school gyms that's still there, and they have live bands play. People from Oakland, metal bands, punk bands, like political bands. It's just it's a grab bag of all, and they do stand up comedy there now, dude. Well, when I was there, they had a comedy night on Tuesdays.
Nice.
So they had comics, going up for open mic, and just a lot of cool shit there. I've had many a good time over there at the Caravan. Some of the best nights of my life at the Caravan. Growing up in San Jose, I grew up in San Jose. I moved here 2000, but I had to go back in 2015 for my dad. But when I got back, the scene seemed a little bit more vibrant. I went to a punk rock show, a bunch of trans kids there, which I sort of like caught me off guard. I was like, well, that's a guy dressed up as a girl, and I guess they're a girl. And I was like, cool, whatever. I'm into it. Cool, sweet. So the scene had definitely changed, morphed into something more inclusive. And what I didn't really dig about it, though, was it seemed to be very super politically correct. I mean, back in the day, like when we were going at punk rock, and maybe this is like a testament to me being out of touch, or maybe I am out of touch. But when I was punk growing up, it was all about not being PC. It was all about, it was all about resisting conformity. It was all about, we're all weirdos here, and we're just gonna be nice to each other because we're all weirdos, and we don't fit like the status. We're not part of your shit, and this is our stuff. But when I went back, I sort of felt pressure in that PC sense. So I would say like that's probably the only thing I didn't dig, because I'm respectful and stuff, but I definitely don't like people telling me what to do, or how to feel or how to think. I've always like the reason why I stopped going to church is because I didn't like people telling me you're a good guy, but you have to accept Christ because X, Y, and Z. I just didn't like that.
Lots of uniforms in the punk world.
Right, yeah. These days, it's about demanding conformity, and I just don't, and I won't. And motherfuckers know that. Friends of mine know that I won't. I'm not an asshole, but dude, don't tell me what to fucking do.
It's backward. It's backwards from what I grew up on.
Yeah, it is.
The scene is completely like flipped.
Yeah.
It's flipped. The script is flipped.
Yeah, there's a lot of self grandeur I've noticed, but whatever, it's fine. They can do that shit as long as I'm not being dragged into it, and that's okay. And I'm not ever doing anything to hurt anybody's feelings or nothing like that. I'm not that type of cat. I'm all very respectful, and I don't know anybody who's rude that way, really. Not you, not me, not Chris. And as abrasive and un-PC we are at times, like my heart's still in the right place, and we all still have a common goal of just like being good people. At the end of the day, we're all trying to be good people. I feel. Don't get me wrong. There's some people who are jerks, but very few and far in between, and they're not in my circle, anyways. But that's all I gotta say about that. But coming back to Austin, I was excited. I got my band going. Fire Walk With Me. We recorded an album, and then started doing podcasts. I decided to start doing podcasting. This is the first podcast I've done in over a year. And the last one I did was with Chris Simpson from Mineral, that band Mineral. Mm-hmm. You like that band Mineral?
I'm not familiar with Mineral's work, but I know of them.
Yeah. Mineral, Chris Simpson, cool dude. He has a band called Mountain Time. And a band called Mineral. He also had a side project called Zookeeper. Talented songwriter, cool dude, family guy. He's got like 3 or 4 kids. Like that guy's got like an entire fleet of children. So that was the last time I did one. I think that was the last one for him. And we talked about family. That one was about sobriety. It's about family. It's like when I was in AA. When I was going to AA, every morning I took mushrooms before I went to AA. Every morning. I just like a microdose of mushrooms, and I would go to the meeting, and it kind of made me feel more. It made me feel like more close and comfortable, and more ecstatic, more in touch with what was going on. And
I've never done microdosing. I've done a lot of major dosing, but not a lot of microdosing.
The microdose is 0.10 of a gram.
Okay.
0.10 of a gram. That would be a microdose. And that's it.
It's not too much.
Nope.
Like you say, I mean, that's the problem for me is like trying to blend in socially with mushrooms. Whereas, so that's why I was curious about the microdosing.
It's barely noticeable.
Okay.
If anything, it'll keep you, like that part of like when you're taking mushrooms, it sort of makes you feel introspective. Sort of self-analyzing the things you say, what you're doing, your mannerisms, what does this mean, kind of stuff. It's like you're gonna get like a little bit of, you're scratching that surface a little tiny bit. It's barely there. It is barely there. But they do a lot of microdosing in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley to help some of their engineers and people who write code to come up with cooler, better, more interesting, fun ideas. It's actually part of the culture. Their microdosing kind of like helps you with a creative process, and it definitely helped me, and it actually helped me get the podcast thing off the ground. Yeah, and so
I know they have microdosing companies out there in the valley now. I've seen them on the stock tickers and stuff.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, man, we need to talk about Sylvain. Sylvain passed, right?
Yes,
passed
sir.
last year. Was that a close friend of yours? Or was it
in the time I knew him, I felt close to him, of course.
He seemed like a fun dude, and pictures that I've seen with him of like at shows or just taking pictures with fans, he always seemed to be very accommodating, very nice, respectful. He still seemed like the rock and roll dude. Had that big ass guitar. Well, what the fuck did he play? It was like a big ass electric white.
Well, he has played lots of guitars, but the one people associate him with the most probably is the Gretsch White Falcon.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he played those a lot.
That's what it's called, the Gretsch White Falcon.
He was one of the nicest guys I ever worked with. Just a real genuine guy. He had a kid, great father. He was playing music in the late 70s and 80s and raising a kid. So
it's pretty heavy.
Yeah. Tremendous loss though, man. I mean, the New York Dolls.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's one of the starting points of
all of it,
of all rock and roll, So it was that was an amazing experience for me. Just thinking back, it just kind of leaves me speechless. I don't even know what to say other than, I mean, I got the opportunity to play with a rock god.
You guys are playing in Japan. That must have been a pinch me moment, man. Right? Pinch me, am I awake? Is this a dream?
Yeah, that was a pinch me moment because Sylvain hadn't been to Japan since 1975.
Wow.
And we played there in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how long it'd been since he'd been there. And I mean, the New York Dolls are so huge in Japan. So much love for the Dolls in Japan. I
saw the pictures.
So much love for the Dolls in Japan. And to see those people, I mean, there were guys at our shows and at our hotel waiting for us when we got there who had seen the Dolls back in 75. There were some old dudes that showed up with like photo albums and stuff and are showing Sylvain all these old pictures they had taken when the Dolls had toured over there in the 70s.
That's so very special.
And I mean, some of them brought a tear to Sylvain's eye because he was just in shock. He was like, oh my gosh, it brought back so many memories for him. So it was really a wonderful experience to play over there. The culture's great over there. I totally fell in love with Japan. Like I've always said, if I could move anywhere in the world, I would probably move to Spain. I'm a big fan of the Mediterranean over there and whatever. But Japan is another place where it would be awesome to have an opportunity to live there for a while.
Yeah, man. I went to Japan one time. I was nothing like with Sylvain or anything, but yeah, that's a really cool story, man. I saw the pictures. I think there was a little bit of video. Chris Alanis posted some video of the crowds and the people. And I know that on all the pictures, he just seemed very happy. He just seemed like a cool dude, and I didn't get to meet him. I think I had an opportunity to meet him one time when you guys were playing in Austin one night at Vegas. Was it at Vegas?
Yeah, we did a residency at Hotel Vegas.
And I had an opportunity to go, but, I'm like working. So I just could never get the time to just go over there, find a parking, and go check it out. Kind of regret it because I did get to meet Cheetah, but I kind of regret not going out and seeing you guys play.
It's like you got to go see those guys now when you get the opportunity because, I mean, there aren't many left.
Yeah,
from that era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good feather in your cap, dude, for doing that. I mean,
Yeah, I'm super thankful for that.
what about the dude you did? Didn't you do something with the guy from? He played keyboards in Rod Stewart's band, and then you created like a band with him, and you guys are looking for the name of the band, and I said, what did I say the name of the band should be?
Yes, you did. You did. Well, no. Here's what happened.
Okay.
Here's what happened. So you're talking about Ian McLagan.
Yeah.
So there was a Faces Hoot Night at Sahara Lounge. And of course, Ian was there, and he was going to be playing and everything. This is really so. Me and David Duay from Catbutt and who's that? Rick Carney from Jesus Christ Superfly, Billy Chainsaw, of course, from Igniter and all that, and I think it was Paul played drums for that. We did a couple Faces songs at that. And was it you that suggested the band name?
Yeah.
Because we called it Stewart's Rod.
Stewart's Rod.
Stewart's Rod, right?
Yes. Because dude, I remember I was like about to go jogging at Town Lake. This is back when I was skinny. And then I was about to go jogging at Town Lake, and it was at nighttime. And you were like, yeah, man, so we got this. We're looking for band names. You're always saying these silly band names. And I was like, Stewart's Rod. And you're like, we're going to totally use that. And then I didn't think you guys were, and you did. And that was funny. I was like, oh my God, they really did that.
So we played right after Mac. And after the show, he's standing by the bar, and I walk by, and he's like, hey, come here. He's like, man, you guys are really good. He's like, we did a version of Flying, right? And Rick Carney worked at Austin School of Music at the time, and we needed a piano player, keyboard player.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
We needed, so I'm like, hey Rick, what are we gonna do for a piano keys? And he's like, man, I got this 16-year-old kid that is at my school, and he's just amazing. So we had this 16-year-old kid, right? His name is Pat, I believe, and he came and played. Well, he did all the keys on that song, right? All the organ parts and everything.
Yeah.
So I walk by, Max standing at the bar, and he motions me over. I go over there, and he's like, hey, I just wanted to tell you I really, really enjoyed you guys' set. He's like, your version of Flying really brought a tear to my eye. It brought back a lot of memories, and he's just being really sweet,
Yeah.
So I got
That's cool,
I
man.
got the opportunity to talk to him, and one of the things that he said, he's like, and I just want to tell you, so you guys have the best name for a band out of everyone here.
That's cool.
And he's like, the next time I see Rod Stewart, I'm going to tell him about this name.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He said the next time that he talked to Rod Stewart, he was going to tell them that he saw a band called Stewart's Rod. So that was one of my takeaways from that conversation.
Young hearts be free tonight.
But he ended up Ian ended up talking to the 16-year-old keyboard player, right? Mm-hmm. He stood there and talked to that kid for like an hour and was telling him how great he was, and oh my gosh, you're amazing, you're gonna be a star, and all this crap,
Wow,
and
that's cool.
And the kid, being 16 at the time, really had no idea who he was talking to.
Right.
It did, when you're young, or and it didn't register
Right.
that dude had played with the Rolling Stones or with Face,
Yep.
he really had no idea what a mega superstar was in his presence,
Complimenting
him. And I sat there and watched it, and I'm like, oh my God, someday this kid's gonna look back on this and
Yeah.
be like, pinch me. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those
That
moments.
that's really cool, man.
Yeah, that guy was a sweetheart. Holy cow, I can't believe it.
I mean, I would like to say I've had moments like that, but I don't think I ever have. Honestly, I mean, I'm pretty clicked in with my homies in Trail of Dead. And
You never got to hang out with James Williamson in San Jose?
no,
Stooges guitar player?
nope, never.
Oh, man.
I've never. I've never been. I mean, the guys in Trail of Dead will tell me all the time like I write good stuff, and they dig it. And even Jason Reese from Trail of Dead plays in my own band. So obviously, what I write's, you know, he respects it enough to want to be a part of it. So that's cool.
Sure.
And so that's a validation in a sense. I think I was hanging out one time with Greg Raleigh, the singer for Santana. He did Black Magic Woman and all that stuff, right? I was up in, we're at his house, long story. But anyways, we're hanging out with Greg Raleigh at his house and his wife and his kids. And we're talking about music. And I think I played, I'm like, yeah, this is my band. And I played a little bit for him. And he goes, oh, this is really, really good. But it didn't really seem like he was like, just sounded like he was just like a canned response. It wasn't like I was, oh, yeah, the way you did this, and I appreciate that, and how that happened, and how you segued into that moment. It wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, it sounds great. I love it. It sounds great. And I was like, okay, whatever. You're not listening. But whatever, dude. You're Greg Raleigh, so we're at the dinner table and whatever. As far as like super rock star shit, like the thing that like one of the pinch me moments that I've had was Greg Raleigh and his wife Lori go to Stubbs to go see what band is that? Dun, 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 dun. Africa, Toto. Okay, so Toto's playing. Okay. All right, so
Oh no.
all right, so Toto, that song Africa.
Oh yeah.
So Toto's like playing over here at Stubbs, and my friend Sean, Greg Raleigh's son, calls me. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Stubbs. You want to meet us there? You want to go?" Cool. To get me on the list. I don't know how they did that, but I went up, and then so Greg's like, "Okay, cool. The set's done. Let's go meet up with the guys." And I was like, "All right, cool." So we go backstage at Stubbs. It's like that little side room with all, it's a catering room. And there's Toto, and then here's Greg, and before I know it, they're just like all talking about, oh, dude, and remember that time, like me, you, and the guys from Steely Dan, like we're all hanging out after that one show, and Journey, they're talking about like Journey and Toto, like they're talking about shit that happened like 40 years ago.
Yeah, they
right?
always do.
And I'm just like sitting there going, I had zero to say. I'm like, awesome. And every once in a while, Greg would look over at me and like, you okay, dude? You cool? I'm like, yeah, I just don't have anything because you guys are talking some legendary shit. I'm hanging out with Toto, Santana, and Journey right now. And I'm going to go. And I just like left, dude, because I was overwhelmed. Because, it's already cool that I'm tight with Greg.
Did you grow up in the Bay?
Yes, I did.
So you grew up on Journey.
You grew
up on Journey.
It was a
right?
bit overwhelming, is what I'm saying. I'm hanging out with
Yeah,
Toto.
right.
I'm hanging out with Journey, and I'm hanging out with fucking the dude who sang Black Magic Woman. So, and was at Woodstock, and one of the coolest dudes ever. Greg, I love you if you watch this. But I just remember they were all talking, and I was there just standing there for like 15 minutes, and after that I was like, I got nothing to add here. I'm in the presence of giants, and I don't know what to say or what to do, and it wasn't like they were like stopping to talk for a moment, or they just kept going on, and I was like sitting there just listening to them talk all about all these stories from the 80s of, oh, and do you remember that time when Toto opened up and the guys from Devo were there, and like just like talking, just what am I gonna say? And they're like, oh my god, you guys know Devo? Like, of course they do. It was just I was overwhelmed.
I met Bill Ward one time from Black Sabbath. That was
oh shit, the drummer.
Yeah,
dude.
So this is I had just done a tour with Speed Dealer, and the guitar player Eric had introduced me to this girl in Los Angeles. Just real cool, whatever. So I'm back at home.
Yeah.
I'm in the Midwest, and at the time my girlfriend wanted to go see Ozfest or something like that. So we went to Ozfest, and we go in, and she's got lawn seats or whatever, and I'm walking through, and I hear someone, Jason, yelling my name, and I look over, and it's this Meg girl. So I walk over there, and I'm like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? And she's like, well, I'm in charge of all the merch for Ozfest. Like, I'm the merch chief here,
Wow, that's cool.
And she's like, where are you sitting? I'm just like, oh, we got lawn sets. She's like, oh, hold on a second. She goes back, hands me all access passes for this whole thing, right? And there's some amazing acts playing. Judas Priest, Ozzy, you know, Black Sabbath, all that jazz. And so she's like, okay, well, before you run in there, she's like, I want to take you to introduce you to someone that I've been hanging out with on the tour. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she takes us back. And we go right up behind the stage, and I wasn't, you know, I didn't give it much thought. There's a guy back there putting together his drums. Not a tech, mind you. It's Bill Ward.
Putting his own drums together?
Putting together the drum set. Yes. He's sitting there adjusting drums and messing with them. I don't know. He seemed really busy.
What a
doing
stickler.
that. Right. So she takes me up and she's like, oh, hey, Bill, I just want to introduce you to a couple friends of mine that are here or whatever. He turns around, shakes our hands, talking to us, blah, blah, blah. I'm not generally when I meet people like that, like I don't want to eat up too much of their time.
Right, they're busy.
I ain't got nothing.
You get it.
I ain't got nothing to say that hadn't been said to them 18 bazillion times. So I met him or whatever. But back then, cell phones weren't really they were a thing, but not really a thing. They didn't have cameras on them, so there's no picture,
right.
There's no autograph or anything. It's just a memory.
Yeah.
But I got to meet him, and the same day I met Zach Wilde, and Zach Wilde was really, really cool. He was nice. Like, he was hanging out there, and he's like, oh, hey, come back to my RV. We're going to go hang out and cook some burgers.
Doesn't he talk kind of like, hey, yo, come back to my RV? Like, he's like some New Jersey dude, right? He has like a super heavy...
He's a New Jersey guy.
Isn't he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a New Jersey guy, but he doesn't really talk like he's on The Sopranos or anything,
Okay.
He's more like... you get hints of that, I think, from time to time, but no, no offense. He just kind of talks more like a meathead dude,
Okay.
kind of southern, meathead dude.
Right,
When
right.
I hear him, But he was a super nice guy, He's making hamburgers on his grill for everyone and whatever, and then we're done eating, he gets ready, and then he goes and plays, and we follow him. We're with his group, and we go back, and we go on the stage, and he's like, oh, check my guitar out, and stuff like that, and it's like, wow, I don't know.
Huh. That's
so
pretty cool.
I met some cool guys before. I met some people before I wish I wouldn't have met them too.
Oh, that's happened to me. That's happened to me before.
That happens.
For fucking sure.
Yeah.
All right, who's the one that you met that you hate? And I'll tell you who I hate, who I wish I'd never met. I can't even listen to their music to this day.
Man, you know what? I don't want to diss anyone.
All right, I will. I will. I will diss.
I'll leave that to you.
I'll diss him. Okay, so in 1998, maybe 99, there was a show at the bottom of the hill in San Francisco, and Hot Water Music was playing. The band that was opening up for Hot Water Music was called Elliot, and that's who I went to see. I went to go see Elliot. I didn't know anything about Hot Water Music. I didn't know any of it. I didn't know who they were, what the music was about, anything. I know the show was sold out. I showed up about 7 o'clock, 8, before anybody else was there. And I'm in the back, and I'm smoking cigarettes, and I'm drinking some beer, and I'm there by myself. Because I couldn't get anybody to go up there to go see that show with me from San Jose. I'm in the back. Eventually, people start trickling in. Next thing you know, this guy takes a seat next to me. He's got glasses. He's tall. He's skinny. He's got like some rough-looking hair. And he's like chit-chatting, talking to people around him. And one of the kids has like a recorder in his hand, like those little handheld, little tiny micro tape recorders. And he sits it on there and he's like starts talking to this guy. And so he goes, and I am so stupid. I didn't put two and two together, like they're doing an interview or nothing like that, right? Mm-hmm. So this kid asks the guy. So he goes, hey, so did you get a chance to see the Clash reunion? Because I guess the Clash were doing some shows around that time in the States. And the dude just basically he just leans back and he's just like, yeah, dude, I went to go see that shit. I was thoroughly disappointed. I kind of feel like they came out there with like half the energy. The songs sounded like redundant. They looked bored. The sound was terrible. And so I'm thinking to myself, it's the Clash, dude. Like, what do you think you're gonna? So I just blurted out loud, and I was like, wait, hold on. I was like, hold on, dude. Do you think you're gonna go see the Clash now and see the Clash 1979 Clash? Like, that's not gonna happen. They've been playing Rock the Casbah for like 20 fucking plus years. You're not gonna see the 1979 or even 82 Clash or any of that. I mean, these dudes are old, and that's it. But it's cool that you got to see them. I just don't know what you would expect from the Clash. These guys are old cats now. And he goes, "What do you mean? What do I expect? What do I expect? I expect to see the fucking Clash get up there and do their fucking thing. I didn't fucking pay money. Blah, blah, blah. He just kind of like sort of rambled off. And he goes, and I don't even know who the fuck you are. Over here questioning like the whole thing about the Clash and this and that. And I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just saying they're old dudes. You're not going to see 1982 Clash. That's it. That's all I'm saying. He's just like, yeah, well, whatever, dude. Because anyways, I don't know who this guy is. And everyone's just like looking at me and, whatever, fine. Show goes on. First band plays, I forget who they were. Second band was Elliot. Main act, who do I see on stage? Fucking dude with the glasses, hot water music. It's fucking hot water music. And I had no idea about anything of them, and it's him. And on the microphone after the first song, he's just like, it's all about family here. It's all about the love and the connection we have with our fans. And I'm just like, that's a fucking bullshit lie. That's garbage. I just left because the sincerity was like stark in contrast to what I had experienced just like an hour prior to that. So, or before that, then fast forward over here in Austin, I ran into them again. I met him also, and I kind of called him out on it. And I was like, hey, remember we met at Bottom of the Hill? You guys played with Elliot. He's like, yeah, I remember that, but were you there? And I was like, yeah, and then you did this. And he goes, oh, man, I don't remember that. I'm like, I do. And I just left.
Nice.
And then I met the guys from Jet. The drummer and the guitar player, his name is Cameron.
Is that the band that stole Lust for Life?
Oh, dude. That.
Dun, dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. They stole Lust for Life. Are You Gonna Be My Girl? That was their thing. So we're sitting there talking, and this is at over there on 7th Street, across the street from Beauty Bar, and we're sitting there talking with Jet, and Cameron seems to somehow be in a bad mood, so I'm trying to lighten the mood, and I was like, all I said was, I'm like, hey man, how's the record coming along? He's like, oh, it's coming along all right. It's turning. There's some things I gotta go and fix and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, I get it, dude. I understand. Like I go through the writing process a lot in the band. Oh, he goes, you have a band then? How long have you been a band? What have you done? And I was like, well, we're just over here in Austin, just doing our thing, kind of like trying to be the big fish in the small pond, just trying to make our niche here. He goes, well, how old are you then, mate? And I was like, 36. He goes, oh, well, it's a bit too late for you, isn't it now? It's a bit too late for you, isn't it now? To me? And then I looked at him and I was like, you know what, bro? I'm not worried about that. No big deal. I'm like, anyway, so you guys from Australia, I dig Australia. I've never been to Australia. When I think of Australia, I think of, cool band. He goes, what bands do you like from Australia? I'm like, I love AC/DC. Currently right now, I'm like listening to a lot of Stooges stuff. And then he goes, before I even finish the sentence, he goes, I've been listening to a lot of Stooges stuff lately, and he goes, there we fucking go. I got a terrible Australian accent, but in this Australian accent, he's like, here we fucking go with Lust for Life. Here we go. Lust for Life. Let's hear it. Go ahead. Let's hear it. And I'm like saying, what? And then the drummer walks over, and then Cameron looks at the drummer. He's just like, he's fucking bringing up Lust for Life. If I'm going to hear this shit again. And I'm like, oh, Oh, no. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say you wrote a song that sounds like Lust for Life. I was just telling you that I'm going through a Heavy Stooges phase right now, and I'm not trying to call you out on your music. He gets up, he gets in my face. We're going to fight. My other friends jump up. They're like, what's up? They had like some guard there with them or some security with them, one dude.
Of course.
And next thing you know, we're all on each other's faces on the back patio. And I was telling Cameron, I'm like, hey, Cameron, you're friends with my friend Frenchie. No big deal. We're going to leave. He goes, yeah, you better get the fuck out of here. He says, there's only so much, yeah, you better fucking turn around and run, bitch, like talking shit that I'm going to take, where I'm going to turn around and be like, all right, so what are you going to do? So that's basically what happened. We were walking out. They were walking behind us, berating me and my friends. Halfway to the door, we turn around and we're like, all right, what the fuck? What are you going to do now? And they're like, oh, and then he's like standing in the back. He's like, whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do. I'm like, dude, we'll fucking kill, we'll kill you. I'm like, but we're out. We're going to go. Because you're friends with Frenchie. No big deal. Frenchie sent us down here to fucking keep you guys company. You guys are being dicks. That's it. I got outside. I call Frenchie. And I was like, dude, your fucking boys down over here acting like assholes. My friends want to kill them. They're not leaving. Frenchie's like, I'm going to be down there in a gun in 5 fucking minutes. Click. And I was like, Frenchie's not going to bring a gun. Frenchie did show up, though, but he didn't bring a gun. And I was telling Frenchie, he's like, what happened? And I was like, here. Actually, I didn't even talk to Frenchie. I saw Frenchie rolling up. I think he got a cab or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember drinking that night. And I remember my friends were not leaving the front door. They had closed the club off, and Jet guys were in there and keeping us separate. My friends were there. They were not letting it go. And I was like, dudes, we gotta go. We have to go. We gotta go. We're in the middle of doing a record at the Bubble already. Like, this is like during the High Wild Crucifix or stuff. And I was like, we gotta go. We can't be hanging out here. And then finally, I think police had to come and escort them into their cabs because my friends were not letting it go. So yeah, that was Jet.
You know, I do have a couple instances now that you've talked about this a little bit. I'll tell you who really sucks is Courtney Love. I met Courtney Love before. Dude, that chick sucks on a level that I can't even describe. Just a terrible person. And I got no use for her. There was a whole big deal. I'd went down with my friend Dave to see, I don't know if it was Hole or Courtney Love or what, but Ginger from the Wild Hearts was playing guitar for her on this tour. So we were going down to see Ginger. And after the show was over, we were hanging out with him in the dressing room. She'd already kicked us out of the dressing room before the show, but we were back there, and Ginger's like, "Hey, you guys go ahead and grab a drink if you want, off the table there with all the drinks on it." So we went over and we're like, looked at the table. We're like, "Oh, there ain't nothing here, there's whatever. There's no alcohol left." And Dave's like, "Oh wait, there's a bottle here, but it looks like there's enough for like maybe one drink. Like there was this much vodka in the bottom of one of many bottles, right?" Mm-hmm. And so Dave splits it up and makes us 2 tiny little cocktails or whatever, and we're just turning and walking away from the table, and here comes Courtney into the dressing room, and she walks over and looks at the table and sees that there's no alcohol left, that someone had drank all the alcohol. And at the time, she had a bunch of young kids touring with her who we had seen going over the table rampantly. So they clearly drank all the alcohol. She goes off and starts, I can't remember exactly how it went down. It was a couple years ago. She went off because me and Dave were the ones who drank all the alcohol. Oh. And we weren't even supposed to be in there, right? Oh my According to her, we call this vodka gate. Because I think she reprimanded Ginger for even letting us back in there or something. But she was the worst. I mean, I don't use the C word, but that's a very appropriate word for her. Yeah. I did not. Yeah. Didn't care for her. Another time is, do you remember a really crappy band called The Vines?
Yes.
Okay. So my old band Swamp Ass was doing a show at CBGB in New York City in the very early 2000s, I think. And a couple of weeks before the tour started, Louisa from CB's calls me and she's like, hey, I got something just came up with the date that you guys are playing. And she's like, would you mind if we add the Vines to your bill? And I was like, yeah, what's the scenario looking like there? She's like, well, they want to play their first show in the United States at that club. And they're playing Conan O'Brien later that night.
Right.
So our thinking was, yeah, hell yeah, they can play with us. Like, that's just going to pack the club out. That's going to be a good deal.
Sure.
Well, so we show up and the Vines are getting ready to sound check. And that singer, dude, during a sound check, I'm not kidding you, he is throwing tantrums about this, that, and the other. And they play a song and he takes his guitar and smashes his guitar like Paul Stanley on the stage in sound check, right? And then he grabs the mic and throws it at the bar, at the bartenders that were like getting stuff set up. He throws the mic at the bar, it bounces down the bar and over it, and and then he gets in the other mic and he goes, "This club fucking sucks. It's a joke," and like storms off the stage in sound check.
What an ass.
And
dude.
everybody in that club looks at him. It's like,
What?
you're the motherfuckers that wanted to play here. Like, we added you this bill at the
Yeah.
last minute, and you're going to come here and be a dick? That guy was a total douchebag, man. And the thing is they played right before us, right?
Huh.
And they packed the club, but the thing is they packed the club to the wrong kind of crowd, because when we came on, that club is full of suit and tie like Sony guys.
Oh.
And our crowd lasted about 3 songs because our singer gets up there and just starts making fun of the Vines, making fun of everyone in the crowd. It did not go well. And that pretty much, our 20 fans were left standing at the end of our show, but it wasn't a packed club any longer. But anyway, it was a funny experience. I actually have a video of that show, and the banter in between songs where he's making fun of the Vines is clearly the best part of the show.
I need to see that or hear that.
It was fun.
I think about nicest dudes I've met in rock and roll. Jay Mascis.
Oh yeah. Jay Mascis.
Dude, that guy, Jay Mascis is like one of the nicest, most sincere, vibe-getting dudes.
Yeah.
And he's kind of silly. He's got a weird laugh. Very genuine. And it just enhanced. We did 2 shows with him. We did 1 show with him when I was with Trail of Dead on tour. We did a show with him in Taipei. That was in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did another show with him in, I believe it was Japan. I think it was Japan. And then, we did 2 shows with him, and both nights he was just fucking cool. He was talking to me about the election, and this is like when Mitt Romney was running, and it was 2012, right? He seemed like a really cool dude. It was a fun time. He was like he's a gem. Jay Mascis is a gem. Tom Araya from Slayer, that guy is cool as fuck.
I met his brother. His brother's been over to my house before.
His brother's has a band, right? Some metal band called. Oh my god, I forgot what the name of that band was.
It's a Bloodcon or something like that.
I can't
remember the name of this band.
Kerry King was really nice, funny. I was just intimidated by him though, because he was like my metal hero when I was working for Slayer for a little bit.
Kerry King was a total dick to me when I met. You know when I told you I went to that the Ozfest and that I had passes for?
Yeah.
So we're sitting down in the cafeteria, right, to eat, and it was really full in there at the time. And Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman rolled up to our table. There was 4 seats, and it was me and my friend, and they're like, "Oh, hey, do you mind if we sit down here?" Because there's really nowhere else to sit. So Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman sit down or whatever. And Jeff Hanneman's super cool. Kerry King, oh my God, just listen to him. That guy was a total dick, I thought. But
He was when I worked with him for a recording session that lasted a week.
yeah, I remember when you did that.
Yeah, I think the first couple of days was kind of rough. It was really it was kind of rough to say the least for either of us to like warm up to each other or
Where were you guys doing this at?
5th Street Studios, 5th Street and Lamar, right there across the street from Whole Foods.
What were they doing?
They were tracking guitar leads for 2 of the songs, a song called Implode and a song called Chasing Death. And Kerry King actually ended up using my guitar cabinet for 2 of the guitar leads on the album.
What album was it?
Man,
One of them.
they're gonna hate me. They're never gonna watch this. But the newest one, I guess, the one that just came out recently, like in 2016 or whatever. Yeah, we stayed in touch for a while after that. But yeah, by the end of that, Kerry and I were okay. But Tom Araya was immediately off the bat a cool ass dude, just asking where the weed was,
Of course.
Yeah, he's just like totally. The reason why they were doing that was because they had lost their guitar tech, who had died. This guy named Armand. He had been their tech for like 15 years or 10 years or something like that. And so he died. They needed a tech. They were cutting leads. And the reason why they were taking time off was because Tom lives in Palestine. So he had to drive over here to do the guitar lead. And I got the gig through Frenchie. Thanks, Frenchie. And but yeah, those are cool dudes. J Mask is a cool dude. Really, really cool dude. And of course, Greg Raleigh. Greg Raleigh's a cool ass dude. We were having dinner one night, and he's just like, when I was growing up, and me and Carlos, growing up in a Latino family, like we'd all get up in the morning, and we'd all like tell me about like, and I'm like, oh, you're talking about Carlos Santana, like like you guys grew up together as kids and shit, like they've been tight since forever ago. Greg is cool. Greg is really cool too, man.
So what are you doing musically right now? Are you writing new material?
Okay, first
thing
I want to say, during the pandemic, I put on 35 pounds. I'm trying to lose it now. Kotwitz is saying low carb, which is not out of the question. I'm still open to that. I've tried it and I failed a few times, but I think if I do it right, I can do it.
It's tough, man.
It is tough. It is not easy, right? It's hard, dude.
Keto diet is so hard. It's like, okay, let me tell you about it. So I decided I'd gain a bunch of weight when the pandemic hit. I'm like, I got to do this keto diet, I guess, because the people I know who are doing it are dropping weight, significant weight. So I'm like, okay, I'll do this. Man, this was right after Easter, and my kid, he went to grandma's and he's got a basket of candy, the size of a small car, and it's sitting on the counter. Like 2 days into this diet, man, I'm walking by that basket of candy, jonesing for it like crack or something. Like, it was all I could do to not reach in there and just start shoveling candy down my throat, because my body was so used to taking in sugars.
Yep.
That when I took the sugar away for a day or two, that was a real hard adjustment.
Fuck yeah.
Super hard adjustment. And as time went on, my wife's not doing a diet, and of course my kids eat whatever. They eat pretty healthy, but they get pizza and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm walking by those pizzas like, oh, dude, come
Shit
on,
done
like,
changed.
like knock it off. Y'all are killing me here.
Shit done changed.
But I stuck with the keto diet for a month, for 31 days. I'm religious, like did not touch the carbs. And I took off about, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12 pounds with very limited amount of exercise. Mm-hmm. And then after that 31 days, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm ordering Jet's Pizza tonight. We're going to have some Detroit style pie, and I'm going to reward myself for losing this weight. And then the day after that, I hop back on the diet. And I'm up over 20, taking 20 pounds off now.
Good for you, man. I need to get focused back in on it. But we're talking about the music stuff you're asking me. I need to get my weight down so I could be in stage shape again. Because being a vocalist, Takes a lot of exertion of singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to be in shape, and to be in shape, you have to be a little bit lighter. I gotta be lighter, anyways. I don't know how that dude from fucking who's that harmonica player? Blues Traveler. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how Pavarotti fucking did it.
Dude, John Popper cheated, man. That guy got his stomach stable,
Yeah,
man.
he
He
did.
didn't do no diet. He went in and had that shit cut out.
But yeah, so until that moment happens, cool. I got a song that we recorded that I want to release as a single now. Yeah, last year was supposed to be dedicated to just supporting the record. And before you leave, I'll give you a record.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, but yeah, www.firewalkwithmeband.com. You can go there and order a record, and I'll send it to you. And that's it. But no, for the time being, though, Trail of Dead is releasing the record, and they have tours coming up. So since Reese plays in my band, I sort of have to like wait till they're done doing their thing. But after that, I think I should be down about a good 30 pounds, and I'll be back on stage and be able to bring the thunder.
You could drop 30 really quick.
I can do it.
You
man.
could drop it real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the doctor. I was like, doctor, I need to lose like 15 pounds right now. What do I do? How could I lose it right now? He's like, cut off your penis. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Bada zing!
Didn't see that one coming.
All right, man, we gotta get going. I want to say thank you for coming out and doing this. This is fucking cool. And yeah, let's listen to some other bullshit that we did. The other song I did with Britt. Is it gonna be on here?
Do you do a whole album with her?
No, we did. Wait. I'll have to edit that out. This is the second song we did with Britt. And then
I used to see the Donis at the Blank Club.
Yeah, I did shows back with them in the 90s. Their parents came. Their parents came to the show. Because they were young, dude.
Don't all those girls live in
15 years
Palo
old.
Alto?
Yeah.
Isn't that where they're from?
Yeah, Los Gatos, I think. So that's me. And doing the harmony is Gabriel from Sparta. He's doing that. Now, here's Britt.
As I stood up all alone, sweat and flesh, my skin and bone. Darling, I'll make you forget me.
Anyways, brother.
She sounds like that chick from the Cranberries on that.
And she does, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That's another fallen rock star, man. Too many people be dying these days, bro. She's been dead for a while, though.
I saw her play at the Regency in San Francisco.
That's awesome.
The last time
I've always wanted to see.
Last
the
time Cranberries played there, I went with my girlfriend at the time, and she was great. I'm not a big Cranberries fan, but she was very good.
Very nostalgic. All right, brother. What websites? Tell us what you need to share. Websites, Instagram.
Man, there ain't nothing to share.
Okay. Everything you already needed to hear, you heard. You done heard it.
My tech guy's not around. I don't know anything about social networking.
All
I have a Facebook page and Instagram. You can look me up.
Okay.
It's like, my nickname, Ginchi.
Jason-
Ginchi,
Ginchi.
1977.
Ginchi 1977. Jason Kotwitz, guitar player extraordinary, extraordinary man, and guitar player extraordinaire. Thank you for coming down and doing this show.
Yeah, thanks for
I
having me,
appreciate you,
brother.
brother. I love you, man. I'm happy to see you, and I'm glad you lost that 20 pounds, bitch.
Yeah. Hasta la vista.
I need to lose some shit too, motherfucker. All right, be safe. Later, buds. Cool, we're done.
Cool track. Yeah, those songs are cool.